Dear speakers and participants, we are very happy to see you here, and we are pleased to welcome you in our session titled on Innovation Teaching. During our session, we will have three presentations from different projects. But first, let us remind you some home rules. First, each project has 15 minutes only for presentation. During the session, their participants are able to write their questions in Q&A tab or chat tab. Okay, the last 10 minutes will be dedicated only for Q&A section. The host or host will voice out your questions to speakers, and you will receive answers from the speakers. In case if some participants would like to voice out the question himself, just use raise hand option, and host or co-host will invite you in stage, and you can ask your question. If you would like to use subtitle, just select the button indicated as CC on the bottom menu, and you will see the text of the speeches. After the event, all the presentations will be available on the CBHE Virtual Fair website, so you can can download it. Yeah. And this concludes small instructions, and let us give the first floor to the first our speaker, Lyubov Zinyuk. The project title is Modernization of Pedagogical Higher Education by Innovative Teaching Instrument. Please, Lyubov, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So my presentation will be devoted to the results that were received during the project Modernization of Pedagogical Higher Education by Innovative Teaching Instruments. It was a national project. The consortium of this project includes, the consortium of this project includes 6 Ukrainian universities that covered the whole territory of Ukraine and 3 European universities. Besides, we also included one company, Quality Ukraine, which was responsible for the evaluation of the quality of the whole project and all project products. So our project completely met all challenges of the reforms in Ukraine, in higher education and in primary secondary education. Besides, it was devoted to the priority promoting of professional development of staff and youth workers in ICT methodologies. On this slide, you can see the planned results and achieved results. We achieved a much more bigger results than we expected, and we created some additional products. So now we will consider them in details. The first is, it was a curriculum development project. So we created 21 new courses for bachelor and master's degree, and they were accredited on the university level. 6 of them were in English. However, you can find all these courses on the site of the project because not only in Ukrainian, but also in English. So some of them the titles of some of them you can see on the screen. So all of them were devoted to the innovative teaching methods, instruments, and tools that can be applied in teaching STEAM at schools. So all the universities, Ukrainian universities participating in the project were pedagogical universities. So they were dealing with pre-service teachers and in-service teachers. So during the project, we, while conducting piloting, we covered 1,832 students. The next interesting stage was trainings. So the trainings were divided into two phases. The first phase was external trainings. They were conducted by European partners, and these trainings were conducted for the selected academic staff from six Ukrainian universities. Then these trainings were disseminated in two ways. The first way was the internal dissemination of knowledge. That is trainings conducted for academic staff of six participating Ukrainian universities, and also two master classes which were conducted by European professionals in pedagogy invited to our country, which were not participating in this project. So in total, we conducted 56 trainings and covered 620 academic staff. What is more interesting and I think more useful for this project is that we conducted internal trainings for in-service teachers. You may find on the slide that we covered 43 trainings and 7 master classes, and 419 primary secondary school teachers participated in this training, and it was very useful. So later I will show you the impact of these trainings. So we also developed the English course adapted for university pedagogical staff. It was planned in the project to create such a course. However, we found out that there were no such courses at all in Ukraine and even in post-Soviet countries. The course, which will be a professional course for educators, which contains all terminology, professional terminology, pedagogical terminology. So first we created like internal course, but later we broadened this course and created a book which contains texts taken from the reports of the European Association of Universities and of the reports of different projects, European projects. So the majority of the texts, they are the text from the reports of 2021, 2020 years, so they were up-to-date reports. We also plan to create the course, the online course, and place it on the site of the project. So all the materials are available on the project site, and you may find the references in the slides. One more very important tool for disseminating the knowledge about innovative tools. That is the International Conference, New Pedagogical Approaches in STEAM Education. This conference helps to disseminate the knowledge not only among the participants of the project, but also to invite people from other schools, from other universities, and to learn about the products of the university. As I'm very short of time, so I will omit some things which are less important than some other products of the project. So, and this slide is devoted to the teachers. So it was supposed in the project to learn the impact of our trainings. It is also a very important tool, and I would advise my colleagues to apply it. So it was written that we will learn the experience of 18 teachers, but we were successful to cover 25 teachers, school teachers, primary, secondary school teachers. Here you can observe only 3 of them. And they implemented skills and knowledge gained during their trainings into their lessons, and they modified their lessons. They applied such instruments as the platform Go Lab, which is like alternative for Google Classroom or for example, Moodle. This platform was created during the Horizon project by European partners, and it has a variety of possibilities to create, for example, virtual laboratories, to create game-based lessons, problem-based lessons, inquiry-based lessons. Besides, they also applied such instruments as Smart Kids, learning apps, Kahoot, QR codes, and here you can observe teachers of mathematics, of chemistry, and of fundamentals of health. And during the project, the school children studied according to the modified lessons, were 1,150 9. So the figure is impressive, and I think that this figure is much more bigger. We only studied the experience of 25 teachers, but more teachers applied this their knowledge and modified the lessons. And now we come to very important products of our project. So the first is the survey, which was conducted of the pedagogical education in Ukraine. So this pedagogical education was studied based on the survey, which includes such directions as a which includes such directions as digital instruments, educational trends, and pedagogical teaching methods. So we conducted this survey among students. They are marked by blue. Teaching staff, university teaching staff marked by orange, and school, primary, secondary school teachers marked by yellow. Why this pedagogical survey was so important? So first we created this 3D map, that is pedagogy, technology, and educational institutions. So this 3D map helps to understand the situation of pedagogical education at this stage, and which challenges we have to meet in future, and how we can cope with all the problems that we have right now in Ukrainian pedagogical education, and at which stage the reforms of higher education and the reforms of primary, secondary school education in Ukraine. Besides, this survey also helps to receive the digital competencies which are necessary for academic staff, pedagogical academic staff, and for primary, secondary school teachers. And it was much more important for our country because up till now we don't have any framework of digital competencies for primary, secondary school teachers. So as a result, we just issued the Compendium of Innovative Pedagogical Methodology in Digital Age. That is the book. It is written in English or in Ukrainian. However, it contains summary in English. And this book contains all important information about the pedagogical education in Ukraine. And those who will be interested in maybe writing mutual projects in this field with Ukraine. So it will be useful to at least to study this book. This book based on 3 reports that are available also on the site of the project. Besides, this book contains the developed profile of digital competencies of a school teacher and also of academic staff, and the profile of a school teacher was used by the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine for forming the professional standard of primary school teacher, which was adopted on the 29th of December 2020. One more important product is Innovative Classroom. Innovative Classroom is a sort of 21st learning space based on the best EU practices. It is the learning space which is divided into various zones, mobile zones, and these zones can be used for different activities. On the slide, you can see the references to each of these Innovative Classroom. And you can also see the reference to YouTube. That is a small video which shows the concept of this classroom and the idea of this classroom, and also the photos of this classroom. However, on the project site, you can also find the detailed prescribed concepts of each classroom. This concept includes the usage of this classroom, the function of this classroom, the content of this classroom, and how different subjects can be implemented in this classroom. All these classrooms were divided into so-called ecosystem, which is used for training teachers, pre-service and in-service teachers. I don't know why, but you cannot see the slide. Up. Yeah. And the last very important product is the workshop kit, which was developed by our Spain colleagues. And this innovative classroom workshop kit helps to create such classrooms. So I advise you just to look at at all our products, and I think that you will find something beneficiary for all of you. So thank you for your attention.
Dear speaker, thank you for your interesting presentation. And our next speaker is Professor Anastasia Alyasova. The project title is Lifelong Learning for Sustainable Development, Modernization in Higher Education in Central Asia throughout New Technologies. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello. So can you show the presentation, please?
Just a moment. Yeah.
I will show it right now.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. Thanks. Dear colleagues, thank you very much for invitation to participate in at Erasmus Capacity Building in Higher Education online fair. Next slide, please. I will introduce you No. Can you please come back? Yeah, I will introduce you the aim, objectives, and main results of the project Modernization of Higher Education in Central Asia through New Technologies. Next slide. We regret that because of the pandemic, we cannot meet in person in wonderful Brussels. Next slide, please. But also in our countries, a year and a half ago, all schools and universities switched to distance learning, and we all had to reorganize very quickly. Next slide, please. Our project started at the beginning of 2019. This is the project website. Next, please. Due to the pandemic, the importance of this project to our countries has increased significantly. Next, please. The following are the partners in this project. You see there are 4 universities from European countries, as well as 15 universities from Central Asia countries, and the ministries of education of these countries. Next, please. The project coordinator is the University of Rus in Bulgaria, and this is the RAS team. Next, please. The consortium main goal is to adapt the educational system in the partner countries to the digital generation through the introduction and implementation of ICT-based innovative educational technologies and didactic models in the teaching process. Next, please. Now let's list the main tasks of the project and briefly talk about what has already been done. The first main task is developing a sustainable academic network for sharing experience and exchange of good practices in the field of information educational technologies and didactic models. Next, please. So what has been done? At the first stage, there are the universities of high-tech partners based and entered the academic network. At the second stage, our universities began to join the network from countries of the Central Asia region, from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. Next, please. In order to strengthen the network, several online and offline meetings of the consortium were organized. Next, please. It is a way to facilitate communication, information exchange, and cooperation between universities and research institutes in Central Asia, as well as between regions, Europe and the rest of the world. Next, please. So what else should be done? What else should be done? We are going to continue an active exchange of experience and good practices between the universities of the consortium in the field of innovative educational technologies and didactic models. Next, please. The second task of the project was to develop 5 concepts of adapting the educational system to the digital generation by taking into consideration the specific conditions of each of the partner countries. Next, please. As you can see, the concepts were drawn up and adopted by the academic councils of the partner universities. And here are the concepts of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. Next, please. Next task was to publish a handbook of innovative educational technologies in 2 versions, paper and e-based. Next, please. The manual, as you can see, the manual has been published, and here is the first and the second part, and it is provided to all partners in 2 languages, Russian and English. Next, please. Our next task of the project was the creation of 15 centers for innovative educational technologies, 1 in each university. Next. The centers have been established and are officially open. This slide shows the opening of a center for innovative educational technologies in the Alatu University in Kyrgyzstan. Next, please. We also equipped 45 active learning classrooms, 3 in each university. Next. As you can see in the slide, the classrooms are equipped and also officially opened. This slide shows the opening ceremony of the classroom at the Kyrgyz State Technical University. Next, please. The next task was to select and use of virtual classroom software in each university. Next, please. Rus University, based on its experience in distance learning and conducting all kinds of online events, recommended the Big Blue Button system to partner universities. And as you can see, we can use nowadays this Big Blue Button system, which is also for free. Of course, we can use Zoom, but we have to pay for this. This is like an alternative one. Next, please. Within the project, the task was to organize courses for trainers for the acquisition of digital skills and innovative teaching and learning methods. Next. What has been done is 75 teachers were trained, 5 at each university, and it happened like face-to-face training sessions. Next, please. It has been online and offline. Next. One of the main tasks within the project was organizing courses for lecturers for the acquisition of digital skills and innovative teaching and learning methods. Next, please. The trained teachers trained 1,056 teachers, that is almost twice as much as it was planned. Each trained teacher received a certificate, and this slide shows the presentation of certificates to teachers of Isykyul State University in Kyrgyzstan. Next, please. In order to help partner universities in conducting training in a pandemic, Rus University, as the project coordinator, has created a public virtual library on innovative educational technologies. And this library reflects nearly all the experience that Rus University worked within the 20 years of working on online education. Next, please. The next task was the creation of 75 courses for e-learning in each of 5 universities. Next, please. Several such courses have already been created that meet all the requirements. On the first page of the course, there are required the elements like the logo of the European Union, the theme, and so on. You can see here like an example. Next, please. One of the tasks was the creation of 5 virtual libraries with digital educational resources, 1 in each country. Next. 2 of this library, please, can you come back? 2 such libraries have already been created that meet all the requirements. So what we should say is, now, can you please come back? In our opinion, what has already been done, this is a good start of the digital transformation of education. And as Plato said, good start is half done. Next. We invite you to visit Central Asia and our universities to see in person what have been done on this very topical and useful project, for the financial of which we thank the European Commission. Thank you very much for your attention.
Dear Anastasia, thank you for your interesting presentation and very relevant to current situation project results presentation. And
can I please also add something?
Yes, you have.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to add something about the role of the ministries in our project, because as you saw, one of the first tasks was to develop concepts of adapting the education to the digital generation in each country. And after they were developed, they were discussed with each ministry in each country. And then after they reached a final solution, these concepts were sent to all universities in the corresponding countries to implement them, and in this way they helped us with dissemination of the project results. This is the main role of the ministries, and that's why they were included in the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Tsitamir. And let me give the floor to our next speakers. Our next speakers are Karlin and Maria Maldonado, and their project title is Innovative Teaching Continents. Please, Maria and Karlin, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nurjul. Would you mind sharing our presentation, please? Thank you very much. So good day, everyone, and welcome. My name is Karlin Cortez. I'm head of international programs at Universidad Viña del Mar in Chile. And joining me in this presentation is Maria Alejandra Maldonado, Director of International Relations and Cooperation from Universidad Católica de San Pablo in Peru. Next, please. Today, we have the pleasure of introducing the project results thus far for Innovat, Innovative Teaching Across Continents, and which is currently in progress until October 2022, thankfully to an extension. It is comprised of 9 wonderful partners, 3 from Europe, representing Austria, Spain, and the Netherlands, and 6 from Latin America, 3 from Peru, and 3 from Chile. Next, please. Innovat's main objective is to strengthen innovation in teaching and learning practices by promoting the innovation of new methodologies and technologies to equip teachers and students with skills relevant to the digital and societal transformation. Next, please. Thank you. In early 2020, we were faced with the COVID-19 outbreak, which led us to redesign the originally planned activities. In other words, any face-to-face teacher trainings were adapted to online training sessions and carried out by our European partner experts. Next, please. The impact of these adaptations was most noticeable in the number of participants that were able to partake and benefit from these sessions. In the first training activity, the original plan contemplated 60 face-to-face teacher participants, 10 from each Latin American partner institution. However, in the online webinar format, an average of 340 teachers from Chile and Peru were trained. The second activity, the MOOC, was planned for 120 participants, and the outreach was far greater by virtually gathering 1,339 teachers. 400 of those were active weekly learners, and 268 participants fully completed all of the online evaluations, receiving their corresponding certificates. The third activity, the Exploratory Workshops, which were also planned as face-to-face sessions, trained the top 60 teachers from the MOOC, 10 from each Latin American partner institution, in preparation for the pilot innovative classes. The main highlight of these training sessions is the relevancy, the value, and the usefulness of the topics discussed. Many of the trained professors had never taught an online class, or neither were they prepared to teach one. Therefore, the activities were extremely helpful in providing the necessary tools and strategies for online teaching, something that is extremely relevant considering today and the pandemic. Next, please. Thank you. One of the most recently completed work packages are the pilot innovative classes. What was the main objective? The main objective was to implement an innovative syllabus, applying the knowledge gained from the previously mentioned teacher trainings and working closely with well-established entrepreneurs to aid in identifying a specific need. Who participated in this work package? 18 professors from our Latin American partner institutions, 200 students, and 35 entrepreneurships were involved. In terms of the results, both students and professors coincide and highlight the collaborative work and the use of digital tools for e-learning. Students perceived their professors were well trained in the use of the digital technologies applied during the classes, facilitating their online learning, and in turn aiding the professors in their online teaching practices. Students also manifested that the classes were well structured and organized. They felt constant support and guidance from their professors. They also valued the service learning methodology, which included a practical component, and students felt they were actually contributing to the local community. In terms of the professors' feedback, they do agree that the work package strengthened the institutional and corporate relationship, and that the learning and teaching environment was a very positive one. Lastly, the main challenge were connectivity issues. Whether it was because students who live in rural areas had limited access to internet, or because the platforms used would drop their connection. Well, I've reached the end of my half of the presentation, and so now my colleague, Maria Alejandra Maldonado, will continue.
Thank you, Caroline. Can you please, Nervo, show the next slide, please? Thank you, Caroline, for having explained very well Innovat's work plan, modified and enriched in such extraordinary times with such extraordinary results. I am one of the many faculty members trained by the Innovat project since its beginning back in 2019 and when it was needed the most at the beginning of the pandemic. It was mentioned that one of the goals of the Innovat projects is to introduce new technologies and ways of producing learning content by modernizing technical infrastructure for higher education institutions from Peru and Chile. For some of the partners, this meant creating a new office. For others, it meant to modernize equipment to continue operating an Innovat office. We're happy to report that despite of the challenges that have existed in relation to the lockdown, slowdown in the economy, closure of the borders, and the fact that the 6 campuses of the partners institutions in Latin America were closed in 2020, 4 of the 6 Innovat offices are fully equipped and currently operating. The other 2 offices are already built and waiting for few equipment to arrive. All offices are executing their work plan for 2021 and have a sustainability plan to continue operating once the project is complete. The offices are already assisting faculty and staff in producing high quality learning content, and most importantly, students of the partners higher education institutions in Chile and Peru are receiving material to learn in a more innovative manner through podcasts, capsules training, and so forth. Next slide, please. Another goal of the project is to extend networks in teaching and learning innovation in national and international higher education contexts. And we will achieve that goal by organizing the Innovat International Hybrid Conference titled Innovative Teaching and Learning in Higher Education that will be held on June the 8th and 9th next year. The Innovat International Hybrid Conference will certainly serve as a window to show good practices that our teachers have implemented so far according to the Work Package 5, but also to show and share the best practices of other higher education institutions about innovating the teaching learning experiences. So in case your institutions are interested in presenting a proposal of an article or a paper to participate in any of the parallel sessions of our conference, please do not hesitate to visit our website, innovat.education. The call is currently open according to the schedule that appears on the screen, and we will certainly be happy to receive proposals from your institutions regarding any of the themes available, such as technological tools applied to education, innovative education connected to industry, innovation and internationalization of the curriculum. We kindly invite you to read the full list of the themes on our website. Next slide, please. Let me just conclude by sharing some of the lessons we have learned while implementing the Innovat project. Unforeseen changes of circumstances can exist when managing a project and in life itself, right? Projects are dynamic, and therefore it is very important to be flexible to adapt to new circumstances and needs, to make quick and well-thought decisions. And it's possible to do that, always through the consensus of the partners of the consortium. It is of most importance to have a well-structured plan, key indicators to measure quality, usefulness, and satisfaction of the delivery throughout the project. The flexibility of the MOOCs, the massive online open course that my colleague Karlin mentioned, in terms of learning self-allocation of study time, can make of this form of online teaching a great tool for teachers' continuous education. Travel limitations during the pandemic brought cost savings with budget redistribution possibilities. And finally, it was mentioned today at the plenary session that digital education is opening up a global window to higher education teachers to collaborate with international universities, to learn from peers, and expand their teaching and research activities outside the university buildings. So looking at the silver lining of all this, pandemic triggered, or if you will, accelerated innovation for most higher education institutions. And there are so many learned lessons that we believe we should now go back to normality. Higher education institutions should move forward to more innovative teaching and learning methods, and for that, time and resources must be allocated for the teachers to acquire the necessary competences and, of course, the digital skills. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Karlin, and thank you, Maria. And let us start the Q&A sessions. And we have several questions from our participants. For Innovat project, good impact with increased number of people trained online. But do you think the trainees were as satisfied with the online experience as they would have been with the offline?
I may address this if you want, Karlin.
Sure.
Yes, that is true. Nothing substitute the face-to-face experience. However, under the circumstances, it was the best we could offer, and all the trainees were, and I can speak from myself because for my experience, I'm also a faculty staff, as I mentioned. This was exactly what we needed under the circumstances to quickly be trained in new technologies and to share with others experiences so we can improve our job while teaching in our classrooms or virtual classroom.
Thank you. And another question is as for Innovat project. Could you please elaborate on the MOOC methodology you use, please?
Caroline, do you want to go to this one or I can do it?
You can go ahead, Mariale, please.
Okay, so in this case, what we decided was to identify the hot topics. For that, first, we conducted some webinars, and we had a discussion among the consortium partners to decide what was that we really needed. We had like a survey or so, and we identified the hot topics, if you will. So we identified using the technology in education, but also things like design thinking for education, using creativity for education. And with all that, we organized 5 modules, 5 or 6 modules at this point. So with that, every module was open for a week, and students were asked to participate in an asynchronous way to watch the videos and to engage in the exercises and forums and chats. This MOOC, something that is very important to share with all of you today, is that this MOOC was open last year, and it will be available again in June 2022 after our or during the time of our Innovat conference, because we believe that this is something that we need to have it available for more teachers in the future. So please stay connected in our website and Facebook, because we are going to open again the MOOC for all participants that are interested in this activity.
Thank you, Maria. And we have another question. I think it's for Heidelberg. Does the program target or include teachers or classrooms who may have or deal with students with various disabilities? Please.
I will answer the question. If it is to us, in our project, we conducted training for teachers. First, at each university, we trained 5 trainers, and then they trained 15 teachers each at their university. So it was only for teacher training what we are talking about here, not for students. So it didn't involve students with various disabilities, no.
Okay, thank you, Professor Tsitamir Vasilyev. And again, a question to the Innovat project. Great presentation. You achieved a lot. Did you also have some challenges?
Yes, for the Innovat project, I would say that our main challenge was to get the equipment for the offices, for the Innovat offices. With the borders closed, we had some delay in receiving the equipment and in working on campus to implement the offices. That I would say that what that was. And it still is a challenge that we're facing, but we're trying our best to get it done as soon as possible. Also, at the very beginning, the challenge was at the beginning of the pandemic. I'd say in March, we already had planned the MOOC program, and everything. The experts were already working on the materials, and we had to stop for a little while to rethink the plan. What the plan was in terms of the face-to-face trainings, we had to switch, and we switched them, as Karlin mentioned. We offer webinars instead, and we try to adapt somehow the content and materials in the MOOC to encounter or to meet the needs that arise because of the pandemic, that were different.
Thank you, Maria. We have another question. It's not a question, it's just request. Could you please share the link to the project website? I think these questions addressed to all the projects. And please, representatives of the project, could you write in the chat your project's websites? I think we answered to all questions. I think, yeah. But we have time. So maybe do you have questions between speakers, one speaker, no, speakers, I mean, between projects, or speakers would like to ask audience, auditorium? Dear participants, you are welcome to ask a question from the speakers. Two participants who asking about records. Yeah, the records of the session will be available on the Facebook page of the CBHE Virtual Fair, and you can watch whatever you want. And we have today great opportunity. Around 60 rooms are open in lounge. 40 of them are thematic rooms, and 20 rooms are just for private conversation, where you can speak or meet with and different project representatives, and maybe create a new project idea for the new Erasmus Plus program for 2021-2027. Okay, we still have time, around more than 10 minutes, so maybe questions. I think, Lyubov Zinyuk, you have questions, yeah? Could you please turn on your microphone?
I have prepared some questions, but I think that I built my presentation. So we have, our project was finished and we achieved a lot of results. So I have very short time to present everything. And I don't have much time to present in details, but I prepared like questions for the audience. So maybe you will.
Okay, I will help you and open the
Yeah, I am opening it right now.
Okay.
So I think.
Please, Lyubov, could you read because
the first is, do you consider any of the project products as beneficial for your activity? And if yes, please explain why and what products, of course.
This question addressed to the project representative of the High-Tech and Innovat projects, yeah?
Yeah, it's like for...
Please, Professor Tsitamir.
I'm sorry, I cannot see very well what is written. It's too small letters for me. Do you consider any of products as beneficial for your activity?
I will read it again. So, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we produced this handbook of innovative educational technologies, which was published, and it's free for those who want to use it, and we very often use it outside of the project too.
But as I understand, we have to prepare the questions concerning our presentations to the audience. Am I right?
You can ask the project representatives, or you can ask the audience. Right now, we have one questions from the participant.
Then I have the question to the High-Tech project. What innovative technologies were offered by you? Because you just enumerate that in the presentation, it was mentioned that you used innovative technologies, you offered innovative technologies, but what kind of innovative technologies? There are a lot of them.
So within the project, at each university, they purchased a lot of equipment, including interactive whiteboards, video hardware, and things like that. And they equipped Center of Innovative Educational Technology at each university. And also they equipped several active learning classrooms for students at each university. And also the teachers, they developed courses, online courses mainly in Moodle, which also use some video technologies for recording lectures and things like that. And so this will be the resources that they will use after the project in their teaching.
Okay, thank you.
Dear colleagues, any questions? Thank you, Lyubov Zenyuk, for preparing questions and asking. Yeah, we have one more question from the participants. It's Professor Okaka Opio. I will show you in stage. This is for Lydia. You know who this is? Did you also have attitude adaptation problems from your teaching staff? Sorry. I'm sorry, I don't know to which project it was addressed. But...
Nurjul, if I may jump in, because this is something that is interesting to be answered for all of the projects. It's a good question. Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
I don't know if any of my colleagues would just like to start answering this. I can do it myself if you want.
Let's start yourself.
All right. So the question it's right on point, and it means I addressed what it was from the faculty members, the teachers, to face technology. And I would say that because of the pandemic, I honestly believe that this was the accelerator for the innovation, because in general, teachers, at least in Peru and Chile, were not so keen to use technology while teaching. So, but because of the pandemic, there was no other option. We had to do it, and we wanted to do it right. So when we face with the possibility of being trained to do our job better, to do our teaching better, of course, all teachers say, "Well, this is worth it. We have to give the best we can, even though if we don't like it, we have to, because we want to be a better teacher." So I would say that the pandemic helped in this process of changing the attitude of the teachers towards using technology in education.
Can I also add? So within the high-tech project, of course, the pandemic changed the situation and the mentality of all teachers that are involved in this process. And if earlier we did the presentation just maybe some of the teachers followed the rules to use the presentations in the classes, but since February 2020, all teachers had to be involved in this process. And that was very challenging for them because they had to think about the new forms, the new methodology, or the combination of online and offline format, and of course, about the quality of the material that they give to the students. And it's not only that you present the lecture, there are so many formats. It can be PDF, it can be different interactive games, whatever. So, but now it's very clear and everybody understands. And I would say more that the now all educational programs for teachers, for future teachers, they include this subject of preparing the teachers working in distance environment. So that's why, so that to have qualified teachers in the future, to be prepared for all kinds of situations, students have to follow this. And when they are the teachers already, so they don't have any fear to communicate in the class, because it must be.
Can I also add something?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Please.
I just wanted to add that we keep receiving emails of gratitude from partners, and not only from partners, from teachers from these 5 Central Asian countries who are even outside of the project, but used our virtual library with video lectures and so on, how to use innovative educational technology. And they say because of this pandemic times, and we have had to do it, and your virtual library was so useful for us.
I would also say a few words about our meeting challenges with teachers. So all our courses were transformed into the online courses during the pandemic. And so all the innovative classrooms were transformed into the centers. And these centers on the regular basis give different online courses for in-service teachers to enhance their professional level in online education. So, and our courses, they are of great demand and of great use. Just each month we have the increasing number of teachers who want to take these courses, because we offer them tools, online instruments for planning and modifying their lessons for online education. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the pandemic, all our schools don't have any experience in working in distance learning. So our project helps right now teachers in all over Ukraine territory, because I've told you that we covered the whole territory of Ukraine by the universities, so such courses. Thank you.
Thank you, speakers. Thank you for participants who were actively involved in our session. And it's our time to finish this session. Yeah. Thank you, all our speakers, all our participants, and don't forget that the lounge is open, and you can join over there in any time when you want, and meet and discuss with the project representatives, continue your conversations. And based on the participants' comment, I think participants are delighted with the results which you achieved in project. So I wish you good luck, and maybe you created a new idea for new Erasmus Plus program for 2021-2027. And stay safe and healthy. Thank you for your joining this session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.